Hi there, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to create a vector-based stick figure character in Cartoon Animator 5. Hi there, I'm David Arundel, otherwise known as the Extraordinary Tourist and sometimes known as the Lazy Animator. In the process of creating characters for Reallusion's Cartoon Animator 5, or at least the new vector characters that they released with Cartoon Animator 5, I was sort of interested to find out if you could use my one sprite method to make a vector-based character, and as it turns out I believe that you can, and I'm going to do a short demonstration showing you me creating a stick figure character using a single vector sprite in Cartoon Animator 5. So let's get on with it, shall we? What I have here is a default document opened up in Inkscape, and it's got one layer, and the document size is 793 pixels by 1122 pixels. And I'm just going to draw a very basic stick figure. We'll start with drawing a head, then we'll get a rectangle for the body. Put those together, we'll line them up like so. And then I'm just going to do copy and paste that one. Use the center point over here. Move that up a bit. Copy, paste, flip it. Align the tops at that. And I'm going to duplicate both of those. So copy, paste. Bring them up here. Make the arms a little bit shorter, and we'll group the whole thing and align it to the middle of the page. We'll just have a look at the layers, rename this stick figure sprite. I'm just going to give each of these a name, just on the off chance I need to know them. It's going to be right arm, left leg, right leg, torso, and head. And I think that's all I need to do. So we're going to save this out, file, save as, character test, and we're going to call it stick figure or vector figure, and we'll put underscore F for front. And Inkscape saves as an SVG by default, so we'll just do that. So that's our stick figure. Next thing to do is to go into Cartoon Animator, bring this on screen. And something that I tried with Cartoon Animator was just using any old template for vector characters. So we go into actors and human actors, and we dig down into G3 human. I think there's some dummy characters in here that are just the hip sprite. Here we go, we've got human dummy from the front and human dummy side. These are just your normal G3 templates for G3 raster characters, but I'm going to import my vector sprite into this. So we'll bring in the raster character and go into the composer, and you'll see all this character has is one sprite, and that's on the hip. There's no other sprites in there. You can see all of these are empty. So we're going to go into the sprite editor for the hip, and we're going to replace the current sprite, my vector character. So vector stick figure sprite. As you can see there, my character has been brought in. It's a bit small, so we're going to make it larger. Fit this template, and you'll notice there it was pixelating as I was sizing it, and it came in sharp, so it is actually a vector. And now we're going to mess around with the bone editor just to put all these bones in place. I'm just putting all the bones in place to match this particular character, and I'm not going to put, I don't need to put feet on this character. I'm just going to leave the feet bones where they are. Match the hand bones up. Head bones and the head nub. We go and we just show the wireframe. We don't want that anywhere near that wide. that's looking pretty good. Do a preview, see how things look. I mean, it's not the best sort of rigged character, just like with raster-based characters. It's sort of really bendy and weird. You get these weird distortions, but just for a stick figure character, and just to demonstrate this concept, I think we can move down. If you hold down the E key, it lets you move just the bone without affecting everything else. Bring the hip down about there. Try previewing that. A bit on the high side. Yeah, it's always going to be weird because this is all one sprite, and I would imagine that we could use this sprite replacement method to create a full vector character this way, but for now this is it. So that's my character rigged, and we're going to get out of the character composer, and there we have the character there. And you'll see, if I zoom in on this character, you should see the little processing thing that happens for vector-based characters when you zoom in. It's sort of, initially they pixelate, but then they come in sharp. So the same thing should be happening here. Go right in, little vectorized things happening, and we've got sort of sharper image again. It's looking a bit vectorized along there, or pixelated I should say, along there. But in theory, let's zoom in on this and have a look if it looks pixelated. So you can actually see the pixels along there, but if I do a sample preview of the current frame, so here we go, you can see that it's not actually pixelated on here, no more than anywhere else. And this is obviously this is raster here because it's now a raster image, so it's showing an actual size. It's not pixelated, so it is a vector character as far as I can tell. So we put that down and we can now use it and apply motions to it. So let's say we go see what motion files we have. So animation, see if we can do 3D motions on it. Do one of these dance motions, which is a 3D motion pack. Try this casual dance motion. Just preview what it looks like. You can see that it's all working fine. It's not a fantastic vector character by any means, but in terms of making a really basic vector character, you don't even need to use the dedicated vector template. You saw me using just a normal PSD G3 template from out of the library, one of the dummy templates, and all I did was replace the hip sprite. We can turn this around if we want to go sideways, spin it around a bit, see what that does. We think it looks best from sort of a 3/4 angle, so maybe something like that. Let's apply that to the timeline. Alright, so that went for about 879 frames. So I'm going to do this, limit that to there. And then we're going to go into the timeline, and I'm going to mess around with the camera so that we can sort of see how this processes when we do scenes close up, so that we can see whether it's staying sharp when it renders or not. So we're going to open up the camera track here, and we're going to go back to the start. And we're going to zoom in a bit so that my stick man fills the frame. And we're going to let him dance a little bit. Stop there. And we're going to add... Actually, we'll zoom in a bit more. And if you don't want the camera to just zoom in like that, and you want to do like a direct cut to this keyframe, you can add a transition curve called step. And you'll see that stays on the wide shot until we get to the keyframe and it cuts in. I'm going to let him dance a bit more, and then we're going to zoom in a little bit more. we can get right up close. We'll just maybe look at what his arms look like when he's dancing around. Again, we'll apply that step motion. Let him dance a bit more on close up. Mark that there and go back to the start. I can copy this keyframe and tab through to get to the next ones. This one, paste over the top of that. Again, we want to make sure that's on a step. In between this one and that one, it goes out of frame for a bit to about there. So we need to have the camera follow over here. And he's going out of frame, so we'll bring him back over here, back over there. Let him dance a bit longer and zoom in a bit on his feet perhaps. A step transition curve, and let him dance. Then I'm just going to paste my other frame again so he goes back to the start. Transition curve, step, and that will be my whole animation. Alright, what I'm going to do is just for a bit of fun, I'm going to add in some of my AE Juice or an AE Juice effect. This is AE Juice, this is their standalone pack manager, and you can buy all kinds of different transparency effects like transparent video effects. Unfortunately these won't work directly in Cartoon Animator, the transparent videos. You'll just get like a black box around them. But some of the videos, like backgrounds and stuff that aren't transparent, you can bring in to Cartoon Animator. So I want to see if I can find one of those. There's a particular background that I'm looking for. I think it's in the starter pack, animated backgrounds. Just one of these colors, I think, all I want. So I'm going to double click that. Background gradient 1. So here it is here, it's being downloaded, and I'm just going to bring that in Cartoon Animator as a prop. It'll be a static image, and we'll just bring it in behind my character here, and I'm just going to make it a bit bigger so that when the camera moves around, hopefully it doesn't come off the side. Might have to move it backwards a bit on the Z plane so it doesn't come in front of our character. Let's have a look. Now we'll play it. And that was the animation, it just looped because I've got a loop on it. So maybe the last thing I'll do is find some music, put on here. I've got some YouTube music here, alternative and punk. Quickly do some previews. Yeah, I reckon that'll do. Media, sound, background music. And go to music, highway danger, and go open. Sound modifier, background music, we'll just do it at about, try it at around 30% so it doesn't get too annoying and loud. Right, I'm just going to save this project just in case it doesn't render out for whatever reason. Go save, vector, stick, figure, demo. There we go, and we're going to export it and see what it looks like, whether it looks pixelated or whether it looks sharp or what. We're at HD, 1080p. We do the range. Want to do it as an MP4 file. There we go, save. And let's pause the video here and come back when it's finished rendering. There we go, that's the whole thing complete, so let's see what it looks like. There you go, that's a freeze frame on close up, and obviously in the rendered version you're going to be able to see pixels to some degree because this is all a pixel based image. But you can see the lines are pretty sharp this close up. They're not pixelating or anti-aliasing too much. It is a little bit here, but I think that's more due to the wireframe distortion than anything else. Otherwise, so freeze maybe another image somewhere. Again, you can see the legs are pretty sharp. All of this distortion is all down to the wireframe and how that works. That's nothing to do with the fact that it's a vector or whatever. It's just the wireframe of the character and how that reacts when it's being distorted. But there you go. Take that off the screen, out of here. You can see that is just a one sprite vector character made using a template that's intended for a G3 raster based or PSD Photoshop based character. And I think I could push this even further, and instead of making just one sprite, I could make all the vector sprites and bring them in manually one by one instead of using going straight to the vector templates. The only downside with doing that method is when you come to doing the eyes and the mouth, it can be quite time consuming if you're bringing in all of those sprites in one by one as well. But just for a basic character that you want to move around in the background, this could be an option instead of going through all the sort of hassle of making a complete character. If you just want something that moves quickly, doesn't have to have too much in the way of facial expressions, this might be a way to go. So I hope you enjoyed that demo of me creating a vector-based stick figure using one single sprite in Cartoon Animator. Obviously this is not a sort of high quality character, it was just mainly an experiment that I wanted to try and show you that there are other methods for creating vector characters instead of just racing straight out trying the various templates for whatever vector editor you're using. So hopefully this video has given you something to think about and maybe another approach to try. So if you're just wanting to do a really simple background character that can have some character animation but doesn't need sort of like the full completely animated face and G3 360 head and all that. So I hope you got something out of this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.